There is a thought that chills the spine, not because it is dark, but because it is honest. I called it the greatest weight. Imagine this. A demon slips beside you, quiet, cool, eternal, and whispers, "This life, as you now live it and have lived it, you will have to live once more and innumerable times more, and there will be nothing new in it. Every pain and every joy and every thought and every sigh must return to you. All in the same sequence, the same order, again and again, like a great clockwork wheel of recurrence. Would you fall to the ground and curse this demon? Or would you say, "You are a god, and never have I heard anything more divine"? This is not theology. This is not metaphysics. This is a mirror, a test. Would you say yes to your life, not once, but forever? Every moment, every mistake, every silence, every failure. Not one thing removed, not one thing added. Would you live it again? If your answer is no, then perhaps you have not yet lived. Not truly. This thought, this eternal recurrence, is no theory. It is a flame. It will show you at once how heavy your soul is, and whether you are still afraid of your own existence. Let me repeat it slowly as it deserves to be heard. You are alone, perhaps in your loneliest hour, a quiet moment, a moment of stillness, a moment of reckoning, and a demon sly and silent speaks to you, not in thunder, not in flame, but in a whisper that cuts deeper than any scream. This life as you now live it, and have lived it, you will have to live once more, and innumerable times more, and there will be nothing new in it. Every pain and every joy and every thought and every sigh, all the unspeakably small and the infinitely great in your life must return to you, all in the same sequence, in the same order. And this spider too, and this moonlight between the trees, and this moment, and I myself, not once, forever. This is not punishment. The demon is no judge. He is a tester of your soul's weight. What is the weight of your life? If you knew every sorrow would return, would you scream? If every mistake must be made again, would you run? If every humiliation, every regret, every grief came circling back, would you call this thought a curse? Or would you, bold, terrifyingly alive, say, "You are a god, and never have I heard anything more divine"? Because that is the test. Not whether your life is easy, but whether it is worthy of repetition. Not whether it is painless, but whether it is yours, exactly as it is. Would you live it again? Think carefully, because your answer is the measure of your soul. What then is the right response to the demon's whisper? Panic? Denial? Collapse? Number. The answer, my answer, is Amor Fati, love of fate, not tolerance, not resignation, not grim endurance, love. To say not merely, "This was necessary," but "This was good," everything, not just the joy, not just the triumphs, but the failures, the losses, the betrayals, the nights of shame, the mornings of emptiness. Amor Fati means looking at your entire life, warts, wounds, waste, and saying, "Yes, I want it all, again, exactly the same, forever." Eternal recurrence is not about time. It is about value. It asks, was your suffering worth something? Were your flaws part of a deeper pattern? Can you look at your past and say, "Thus I willed it"? Not in spite of everything, but because of everything. You say you want freedom? Then free yourself from regret. Free yourself from the fantasy of do-overs. This life, your life, is your raw material. The test is not, was it perfect? The test is, can you bless it? All of it. Not someday, but now. Eternal recurrence does not ask many questions. It asks only one. Would you live it again? That is all. No appeal, no edits, no skipped chapters. This is not about whether your life was good. This is about whether you would say yes to it. Yes, or no. No middle ground, no nuance, no excuse. And this is my moral barometer. Not whether you follow the rules, not whether you are kind or pure or admired, but whether you could say, yes, I choose this life, I want it again. Not just the pleasures, not just the victories, but the entire melody, the high notes and the horror, the nights you broke down in silence, the betrayals you never got to avenge, the love that withered, the time you wasted, the grief that never healed. Would you take them too? Because you must. You cannot say yes to part of your life. You must say yes to all of it, or you have said nothing. In Zarathustra I wrote, to redeem the past and transform every it was into a thus I willed it. That is redemption for me. So, I ask you now, have you lived one day, just one, that you would choose to live again and again and again for all eternity? Not because it was painless, but because it was yours, because it was real, because in that moment you said yes with your whole being. You were taught to believe in redemption, a heaven above, a judgment day ahead, a second chance, granted after death, not earned in life. But I ask a far more terrifying question. Would you redeem this life? Not some perfected afterlife, not a paradise sanitized of pain. This life, exactly as it is, because eternal recurrence offers no escape, no savior, no forgiveness, no end. You will not be rewarded for your suffering. You will simply live it again. And that, yes, that is more sacred than any god you've invented. Christianity gives you hope for later. I give you the demand of now. Heaven is easy. You wait, you obey, you are saved. But my gospel is harder. There is no judge but your will. There is no meaning but what you create. There is no escape from yourself, only affirmation or denial. This is not blasphemy. This is reverence for reality. If you recoil at the thought of eternal recurrence, then you are still hoping for a God to rescue you from your own existence. But I ask again, would you say yes to this life, exactly as it is? Because in that yes, you do what no deity ever did. You redeem the world by loving it. Now, let me guess your response to eternal recurrence. You panic. You scoff. You wave it away with a laugh and say, it's just a thought experiment, not real. Exactly, that's the point. It's not meant to be real. It's meant to be revealing. The very fact that it hurts to imagine, that tells me everything I need to know about your soul. If the idea fills you with dread, then you live with regret. You move through time waiting for forgiveness, for improvement, for escape. You dream of someday when you'll be better, someday when life will finally begin. You cling to the future because you cannot bear the weight of the past. But eternal recurrence closes that door. It locks you inside this life, this version, this moment forever. And that is why it is divine, because it demands the one thing you have always avoided, to live now, fully, affirmatively, no more waiting, no more blaming, no more bargaining with a God who does not answer. If you recoil, it's because your soul is still hesitating. But if you can hear this thought and stand upright, if you can face the wheel of recurrence and whisper yes, then you, my friend, are finally awake. You still want to ask me, but Nietzsche, is it real? Will time really repeat? Is this science? You've missed it. Eternal recurrence is not a theory of physics. It is a challenge of the soul. It is not about time. It is about how to live. What if every step you take echoes through eternity? What if every word you speak will return to your mouth again and again? Then each moment is no longer disposable. It becomes sacred. This is the practice I give you. A spiritual practice for the fearless. Live as if every moment will return. Eat as if this meal will feed you forever. Speak as if these words will define your eternity. Love as if this kiss, this glance, this gesture will loop through time without end. Rest as if your breath is the breath of God's. And if you fail, if you falter, good. Because Amor Fati is not about avoiding failure. It is about turning even your collapse into music. A life well lived is not without error. It is a melody in which even the dissonance belongs. So I ask, can you make your life sing, even if it plays forever? Because that is the true measure of greatness, not to erase time, but to fill it so completely that repetition becomes a blessing. Now, it is your turn. I will not give you an answer. I will give you a mirror. What moments in your life would you choose to relive? Forever? Can you name one? Just one? A conversation? A sunrise? The way someone looked at you once without expectation, without fear. Would you keep that moment? And now dare to go deeper. Which moments would you dread to relive? What memories make your stomach tighten? Where do you recoil? Was it failure, betrayal? Was it the time you were not seen, or worse, the time you refused to see? These are not questions to pass over lightly, because if there are pieces of your life you cannot bear to face again, then your answer to eternal recurrence is still no. And so I ask you, are there choices you would make again, even knowing they would hurt, because they made you more real? Would you live your sorrow again because it taught you to see? And now the hardest question, what must change? Not in the world, but in you, for your life to become a yes. You will not escape the past. You will not rewrite the script, but you can become the actor who embraces it all, not to fix it, but to own it, not to forget it, but to say, thus I willed it, even now, even still, even again. Let us return one last time to the mountaintop, to Zarathustra. There I taught this, the one who loves his fate becomes free, not by changing his destiny, not by escaping it, but by saying, yes. Eternal recurrence is not a punishment, it is not even a reward, it is a spiritual challenge, not to improve life, but to affirm it. Not to be perfect, but to be willing to say, I will live this life again, and again, and again. Not just the laughter, not just the light, but the hunger, the fear, the night. This is the final measure. Only he who says yes to everything has passed the test. Not the coward who avoids pain, not the fool who forgets it, but the one who sees it clearly and still says yes. So I ask you now, not tomorrow, not in theory, this moment, right now. Would you live it again? This breath, this feeling, this quiet terror, this hope. Would you bless it? Because if not, then the demon is waiting, and he will whisper again, this life as you now live it, you will live again, and again, and again. And your only answer, if you are free, if you are great, if you are becoming, must be yes.